Welcome to Navigating the SEND World. My name is Chris Russell. I will be delivering this webinar. The objectives of this webinar are to gain a better understanding of the diagnostic pathway and what services you can access from the NHS, to have a clear understanding of what schools should be doing to support your child, to know which services are available to support both you and the school, to understand what social services are available to support your family, and to know where to go for support in your parenting or caring role. Before we start, we have a list of acronyms on the screen. The language of SEND can be quite complex and there's a lot of acronyms. Some of the more common acronyms that you will come across are now on the screen. You may wish to pause the video on any points of interest. Our first topic is health. In this topic, we are going to explore the pathway to diagnosis, hints and tips for meetings and appointments, and explore NHS services in more detail. We'll start with the pathway to diagnosis. If you have any concerns about your child's development, visit your GP. Your child's school may raise some concerns as well. This may be a reason to book a GP appointment, but it is worth noting that only you as a parent and carer can book a GP appointment for your child. Your GP will likely refer you on to a paediatrician. This is a specialist doctor. There is a maximum 18 weeks for an initial appointment. If your wait time exceeds 18 weeks for your initial appointment with a paediatrician, you can contact PALS. We will discuss that more later. There is a new pathway that has recently been developed in Hertfordshire that is making the process easier. You may also see your health visitor. A traditional health visitor works with children up to the age of 5 or up to the age of 6 if they have a diagnosis. The health visitor teams have SEND champions, care coordinators for children with complex needs aged 0 to 3. That's currently in Watford and Stevenage. And the health visitor teams are also aiming to have SEND training for all health visitors. In some areas of the county, you may come into contact with a special needs health visitor. The special needs health visitor offers support with understanding your child's needs, will give information about services and benefits available to you locally from Hertfordshire and nationally, support in accessing other services, and will liaise with other medical professionals such as doctors, therapists, also teachers and social workers. The paediatrician. Paediatricians are doctors who have specific expertise in assessing children with neurodevelopmental difficulties. This includes autism, ADHD, various syndromes, and developmental delays. You may see an individual paediatrician, or you may attend a CDAC session, also known as a CDAC. This appointment is usually between 1 and 1.5 hours long, where you discuss what your concerns are. Now, the paediatrician may ask some seemingly random questions, but we will assure you they are all relevant. They will take notes and should weigh and measure your child, as they will be looking at your child's holistic development. Hints and tips for meetings and appointments. As a parent and carer of a child with SEND, you will attend a lot of meetings and appointments. Here are some tips from our community. Be prepared. Take a list of questions and concerns with you. This can be handwritten notes, it may be notes on a phone, it may be voice notes, but bring something with you to structure the appointment. It can be helpful to keep a diary for at least a week, ideally 2, as the paediatrician will only see your child in person for that 1 to 1.5 hours. Having a diary can help see what a normal week looks like for your child. You have the right to advocacy. You can take someone with you. This person may take notes for you. They will also be hearing the same things that you hear and will be able to process and discuss the meeting with you afterwards. Bring all previous paperwork relating to your child. Reports from school, from nursery, from college, the red book, if you still have the red book, anything that you think may be relevant, bring that with you. School may be able to provide a short report if there are any concerns from school. Do listen carefully and please don't be afraid to say if you don't understand during your appointment. This is your appointment and you can ask for clarification on any points that aren't completely clear. Don't come out of the meeting and try and process everything all at once. They can be quite emotional, so maybe bring some tissues with you, give yourself some processing time, and allow the meeting to sink in over the next coming days. Next, we're going to have a look at the Children's NHS services. Who are they? What do they do? And how do you access them? Here on the screen, you will see a list of all of the Children's NHS services available in Hertfordshire. You may wish to pause this to read these through in more detail. We will now discuss some of the services you are more likely to come into contact with as a parent and carer of a child with special educational needs and disabilities. Speech and language therapy, often shortened to SALT. The second, occupational therapy, shortened to OT. Physiotherapy, also known as physios. The Children and Young People's Mental Health Service. PALMS, the Special Needs Dental Service, and PALS. It's worth noting that the first three services on screen, speech and language, occupational therapy, and physiotherapy, have been combined into the Children's Therapy Services. The Speech and Language Therapy Service offers a child and family-centred approach to support children and young people with their speech needs, with their language needs, but also with eating and drinking difficulties. This can include other motor movements within the mouth. The service works alongside parents and carers and the wider support network for your child. This service offers a three-tier model of service. This is a common model that is utilised across many services: universal, targeted, and specialist. Universal support is best practice and is something to refer to for any child with a speech and language need. Targeted support is where your child receives specific targets for their speech and language needs, and specialist support is much more intense. The service may provide direct input or indirect input. This may be by working directly with your child. This may be by training teachers and parents and carers on how to implement the therapy. To access the service, you can self-refer, you can speak to your GP, speak to another health professional, or speak to your child's school. More information on the Hertfordshire Speech and Language Therapy Service is available on their website on screen. The Children's Occupational Therapy Service supports children and young people with their independent skills. This includes daily living skills, self-feeding, sensory needs, dressing, and participating in the community. Occupational therapists also provide assessments and advice on how to adapt your home or your child's school to meet their specific needs. Similarly to the speech and language service, the occupational therapists may provide direct or indirect input via direct work with your child or training the team around your child. You can book parent and carer training on the occupational therapy website, which is available on the bottom of the screen. To access the occupational therapists, you can speak to your GP, another health professional, schools, and you may also self-refer. The physiotherapy team supports children who have physical disabilities or conditions that impact on their development and functional daily skills. The children's physiotherapy team develops both gross and fine motor skills, such as walking and object manipulation. Again, this can be advice or hands-on work with your child. To access the physiotherapy service, you need a referral by an NHS healthcare professional. This could be your GP. More information is available on the physiotherapy website at the bottom of the screen. The Children and Young People's Mental Health Service, also known as CAMS, as it was formerly known as the Children and Adolescent Mental Health Service. This team has a website for information on how to get help for children, for young people, and for parents and carers. You may be referred into the Children and Young People's Mental Health Service because of anxiety, disordered eating patterns, depression, low mood, or any other mental health concerns. To access the Children and Young People's Mental Health Service, you may get a referral from an NHS healthcare professional. This can be your GP. More information is available on the Children and Young People's Mental Health website. Sandbox is a new free service that has launched on the 1st of April 2023. Sandbox offers a website with access to games, worksheets, and online chats for children. They also offer cognitive behavioural therapy, or CBT, from a professional therapist. This can be accessed by text, phone, online chat, or video call. The website is open for support 24/7, and therapy sessions run between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. on weekdays and 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. The live chat is available from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. More information is available on the Sandbox website at the bottom of the screen. PALMS stands for Positive Behaviour, Autism, Learning Disabilities, and the Mental Health Service. This is a slightly more specialised branch of the Children and Young People's Mental Health Service, as this team specialise in working with children who are autistic or have a learning disability. They work across the whole of Hertfordshire and have a multidisciplinary approach to supporting children. Multidisciplinary means that there are a number of professionals working within the team, such as different specialist doctors and nurses. To access PALMS, you must be referred by an NHS healthcare professional. This can be your GP. More information is available on the PALMS website at the bottom of the screen. The Special Needs Dental Service is available in some parts of the county. The Special Care Dental Service is an award-winning practice that offers dentistry services to children who cannot have their needs met from their local high street dentist. To access the Special Care Dental Service, you may get a referral by an NHS healthcare professional. This may be your GP or an NHS dentist. More information is available on the Special Care Dental Service website at the bottom of the screen. The Patient Advice and Liaison Service, or PALS, offers confidential advice and support on health-related matters. They may support you with health-related questions, concerns about using the NHS, and give advice on how to get more involved in your own healthcare. They also advise on the wider NHS services, including many services that we haven't covered today, the complaints procedure, including how to get independent help, and support groups outside of the NHS. PALS have offices in most local hospitals, so do check your local hospital in Hertfordshire to see if there is a PALS office. You can also contact PALS via their website, their telephone, or an email address. All of that information and more can be found on the PALS website, which is linked at the bottom of the screen. Our next topic is education, where we will discuss what schools should be doing to support your child, the role of the SENCO, the Special Educational Needs Coordinator, and have a look at who schools can refer to for support. We will explore other education services, what is available, what do they do, and how do we refer into those education services. And we will have a look at Education and Healthcare Plans, EHCPs. What are they, and how do you apply for one? All schools in Hertfordshire must abide by the Send Support in Schools policy. Part of this policy means that you can approach your child's school, nursery, college, their education setting, if you think that your child might have a special educational need or disability. Schools offer Send support in 4 stages. These 4 stages are known as the graduated approach. It's also known as the Assess, Plan, Do, Review cycle. Firstly, a school will assess your child's needs to see if there are any special educational needs. They will then plan the support. They will put that plan into action and then review it at an agreed time. After the review, they may reassess your child and start the assess, plan, do, review cycle again. The support your child gets should be reviewed at an agreed point between you and the school. You can both decide together whether the support is working or if any further assessments and changes need to be made. The SEND Code of Practice, the Children's and Families Act, the Education Act, and the SEND regulations are just some of the legislation that governs SEN support in schools. Some of the take-home points of the SEND Code of Practice say that schools need to identify any areas of need for all children, provide SEND support to meet those needs, make reasonable adjustments, abide by the Equality Act, provide an inclusive environment for all pupils, and they must employ a designated special educational needs coordinator, also known as the SENCO. The SENCO works along the school's head teacher, governing body, and senior leadership team to develop a special educational needs policy across the school. They also monitor the provision. The SENCO will advise and support teaching and non-teaching staff in the school to understand their responsibilities and take an active part in meeting SEND pupils. The SENCO's key responsibilities include the day-to-day operations and coordinating the provision, liaising with families, advising on the graduated approach, the assess, plan, do, review cycle, and use of the school's designated budget and other resources. The SENCO must be a qualified teacher. They must also hold a national award in special educational needs coordination or achieve it within 3 years of being appointed as the SENCO. Who can schools refer to for support? On screen, you will see a list of services, both from the NHS and from the Hertfordshire Local Authority, that schools can refer into to seek advice. Some of these we have covered in our health topic earlier. The rest of these we will cover now. Services from the local authority include Hertfordshire's Integrated Services for Learning, also known as ISL, the DSPL teams, which stands for Delivering Specialist Provision Locally. There is various outreach support that your child may receive support from, family support workers, and SENDIAS. Hertfordshire's Integrated Services for Learning is a multidisciplinary team that offers support in the various areas listed on screen. There is a team of educational psychologists to help schools understand and manage a wide range of developmental issues. The Access and Inclusion team will carry out statutory, that's legal work, relating to children who may be missing in education, electively home educated, or may be absent from school due to a medical reason. The statutory SEND service works with a range of people and also does a lot of work on education and healthcare plans. The SEND Specialist Advice and Support Team, also known as SEND SAS or SEND SAS, is a team full of early years specialists, speech, language and autism specialists, physical and neurological specialists, specific learning difficulty specialists, and sensory impairment teams as well. The SEND Graduated Response Team is a fairly new team who support professionals to develop inclusive models of provisions in their settings. The Educational Psychology Service is a team of educational psychologists, and each school in Hertfordshire will have a contact or a link EP. EP stands for Educational Psychologist. Support is prioritised for children with more complex needs and who may need educational psychology support to meet progress goals. The service also does statutory work. They contribute psychological advice as part of a SEN assessment. This is an assessment that goes towards an education, health and care plan. The team also offer crisis work, where they provide support for critical incidents such as serious injuries, death of a child, a member of staff, or a parent. For crisis support, schools should contact their local area team. Send SAS is a team of qualified teachers and workers that support children from the ages of 0 to 25. This service is split into 4 different teams: the Specific Learning Difficulties team, the Speech, Language, Communication Needs and Autism team, the Physical and Neurological Impairment team, and the Early Years team. To request support, parents can contact an advice line. Schools may also access an advice line or request a referral to the team. On screen, you will see a list of the advice lines. You may wish to pause this if there are any services that you wish to contact. The SEND team is a team that looks after all children and young people going through the process of an education and health care needs assessment. The Assessment and Customer Care Division look after all children who are currently in the assessment process or are still awaiting their first annual review. The Provisions Outcome and Placement team look after children once they have had their first annual review and continue monitoring the process. The Resolution and Reconciliation team are there to step in if there is an issue that hasn't been resolved, such as complaints, mediations, or appeals. Here are the contact emails for those 3 services. You may wish to pause this if you want to write any of them down. DSPL stands for Delivering Special Provision Locally. DSPL teams are a service made up of parents and carers, school staff, early years staff, further education staff, and representatives from other agencies, including members of ISL teams. The DSPL areas support schools to meet the needs of children and young people aged 0 to 25 as close to their home as possible. They improve outcomes for well-being and attainment, widen choice, remove barriers to learning, and will use designated resources effectively. Hertfordshire was split up into 9 different DSPL areas. On your screen, you will see a list of those 9 areas and can see which DSPL area you live in. Each DSPL has its own website with contact details if you would like to speak to the team. Each DSPL area also has various outreach teams that support children in that area of Hertfordshire. The outreach services are split up into the 2 columns on screen. The first is SEMH, which stands for Social, Emotional and Mental Health. If your child has a social, emotional or a mental health need, then the following services are available to support your child. An outreach service is a team of teachers and professionals that will visit your child in their school to support them in their setting. If your child requires learning difficulty support, there are a number of specialist schools that have an outreach team. These are members of staff at a special school that will visit a mainstream school and offer advice, guidance, and do observations. Family support workers are not available in all areas of Hertfordshire. Some schools will need to sign up to a service, and this service is not always special educational needs or disability specific. Family support workers may be able to offer support with more general family support. Some may have SEND expertise. Some will work out of your child's school. Some will work within the DSPL area. At Space, we have a team of SEND-specific family support workers. The team works across the whole of Hertfordshire, offering bespoke practical support to your family, strategies and resources on a one-to-one basis. The team create plans of actions with you, not for you, and will help you navigate local resources. The Space Send Family Support Team is a listening ear support and will provide ongoing support as necessary. To book an appointment, please use the details at the bottom of the screen. Other services that may be useful. The first is SENDIAS, Special Educational Needs and Disability Independent Advice and Support Service. This service provides impartial advice on policy and practice, legislation, education and healthcare needs assessments, and those that are in the process of developing an EHC plan. They may attend meetings or visit schools when appropriate, and they also offer training and events. The contact details for SENDIAS can be seen on the bottom of the screen. Other services that may be helpful is IPSI, a service providing legal advice. They have their own website and helpline. And SOS SEN also offer legal advice and drop-in sessions. Education, Health and Care Plans, also known as EHCPs. These are legal documents which detail the needs and support that your child needs whilst they're in an educational setting. An EHCP will be issued when your child's needs are over and above what a typical mainstream school should be providing for a child with special educational needs and disabilities. To apply for an education healthcare plan, you do this in writing to the local authority and request an education healthcare needs assessment. This application form is available on the local offer. We will talk more about the local offer later. Our next topic is social care, where we will be exploring the 0 to 25 Together team, SBLO, which stands for Short Break Local Offer, Direct Payments, Carers Assessments, Children Looked After, Safeguarding, and DLA, which is Disability Living Allowance, and CA, Carers Allowance. The 0 to 25 team is Hertfordshire's social care services for 0 to 25-year-olds that have disabilities. This service helps children and young people to lead safe and independent lives up until the age of 25. The service works with neurodivergent children, including children that have a physical or a mental impairment that has a long-term and adverse effect on their health. Areas that they cover are assessments, social care assessments. They may assess for direct payments, which is financial support for your parenting or caring role. They may provide nursing input. As your child approaches 16, they will offer support in preparing for adulthood, and they will signpost to other services. The link at the bottom of the screen gives more information on the 0 to 25 team. SBLO is Hertfordshire's Short Break Local Offer. Through the SBLO offer, you may receive 40 hours of respite. This is a break from your parenting and caring role. If you meet the criteria, which are you live in Hertfordshire, your child is aged between 5 and 19, and has an identified additional need, then you will be awarded these 40 hours per year, and there are a series of places you can use it. A majority of families will use it for play schemes, activities, and clubs. More information is available on the Short Break Local Offer website at the bottom of the screen. If you cannot access SBLO, the activities aren't suitable, it's not enough hours, you can apply for direct payments. To apply for direct payments, you must contact the 0 to 25 Together team and request a social care assessment. From here, you will be awarded a certain number of hours where money is paid into a separate account. You are asked to justify this spend and show where you spent it. The team are not trying to catch anyone out. It is just to monitor where the money goes to help service development plans in the future. A majority of families will hire a carer or use this funding to attend private clubs, activities, and schemes. Carers assessment. If you care for someone for more than 35 hours a week unpaid, you are entitled to a carers assessment. This can result in money for you to take a break from your caring role. The Children Looked After team is a service in Hertfordshire that focuses on children in foster care, children in care homes, and children who have been adopted. The safeguarding team is a different section of social care. Hertfordshire has a safeguarding rules and policies for all the professionals working with children, and every professional must abide by these policies and procedures. Required reporting is one of these rules. Next, we are looking at disability living allowance and carers allowance. Disability living allowance is a benefit that is paid to you. Your child may be awarded one of these 3 levels of care: low care needs, medium care needs, or high care needs. They may also be offered one of the 2 levels of mobility: low mobility needs or high mobility needs. This benefit is paid by the Department for Workplace and Pensions, not from the Hertfordshire Local Authority. You can apply for disability living allowance via a form on the government website. Carers allowance. You may receive carers allowance if your child receives medium or high rate care through the DLA, if you are aged 16 or over, if you spend 35 hours a week caring for someone, you are not in full-time education, this is 21 hours a week studying or more, you are not subject to immigration control, and if after tax, national insurance and expenses, your earnings are £134 a week or less. You may be entitled to a blue badge. If you are blind or severely sight impaired, you will definitely get a blue badge. If your child receives PIP under the moving around section, this is the 16+ version of DLA. If you get the higher rate of mobility through the DLA. You may qualify for a blue badge if you drive and have a severe disability in both arms, if you can't walk or find it very difficult to walk, if you are terminally ill, if you are a constant risk to yourself or other people in traffic or car parks, and you can also apply if you have a non-visible condition that severely affects you. This includes autism. You can apply through your local council. We will now look at other support services available in Hertfordshire and nationally. This includes the local offer, other local services, support groups, and some more services. Every local authority must provide access to all information relating to SEND. This is called the local offer. Hertfordshire's local offer can be accessed through the link on the screen. If you are moving away from Hertfordshire or moving to Hertfordshire, it is always worth having a look at the local offer for the local authority that you are moving to. This will help you plan your move. HAND is Hertfordshire's additional needs database. You can apply for a HAND card, which is a digital card that shows up on a phone or a mobile device. This can offer fast passes or queue jumps and some discounts at many attractions in Hertfordshire. The Money Advice Unit, or MAU, offers free impartial advice on benefits that you may be entitled to as a neurodiverse family. They also offer support to complete disability living allowance or carers allowance forms or personal independence payments. So if you need support filling in forms, you can contact Hertfordshire's Money Advice Unit. HPCI stands for Hearts Parent and Carer Involvement. This is funded by the Department for Education and is a parent and carer-led organisation which improves services for children and young people aged 0 to 25 who have SEND. The team does this by ensuring that family voices are heard by service planners and decision makers in the local authority. On your screen are a number of support groups available in Hertfordshire. You do not have to access just one. You can access as many or as few support groups as you like. Lending Space is a community hub based in Stansted Abbotts. We have a lending library that offers sensory, educational and practical resources that are free for any family in Hertfordshire to borrow. This includes the more expensive equipment. The Lending Space team help with suggestions for equipment and books. They offer emotional and practical support, knowledge and understanding of local resources. Your children are welcome to attend, to play with the equipment and meet other children and young people. And you can stay for a free hot drink and a chat with the team. Other useful information to know. The CEA card is a cinema card that allows a free parent or carer to attend the cinema with a disabled child. A sunflower lanyard is something worn around the neck to show that you may have a hidden disability. This is recognised in many community places such as airports, supermarkets, theatres and gyms. If you do not have a sunflower lanyard, you are more than welcome to collect one free from Space's Lending Space. Many attractions will offer fast passes to families with a disability. It's always worth contacting somewhere for a day out to see whether a fast pass is available. You may also wish to register as a carer with your doctor and with your library. When you register as a carer with your doctor, you get a free annual health check to keep you healthy. When you register as a carer with your library, you will have a longer borrowing period and you may be able to borrow more items at one time. Family Fund is a national charity that offer free grants to families of disabled children. It is worth having a look at, as you never know. That's about it from me. To summarise, we've understood the diagnostic pathway and what services you can access from the NHS, to know what schools should be doing to support our children, to know which services are available to you and the school. We've explored what social services should be doing to support you, and we've discussed where to go for support in your parenting or caring role. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.